back. Today we're going to be going to a friend of ours to help him make a bull calf into a steer that he's going to be butchering. So we have to take the squeeze chute and some panels and some things over to his house to get set up and get this job done that nobody wants to do. So come along with us.
That's one way to get on top of the barn if you need to do some repairs. All right, so what are we getting ready to do?
Well, we're going up to a friend of ours' house to make a bull into a steer, which is basically get rid of his testicles. So I'm just getting some things together here that we need to do that process. Basically just doing it here in the kitchen instead of out on the farm, because there's a lot of bacteria and stuff you can pick up, get needles prepped.
Yeah.
So it's more of a controlled environment.
What did you just do a minute ago before I pressed record?
Well, stuck myself with a needle. Went to put the cap on and jabbed it into my hand instead.
There was no medicine in it, so it's okay.
No.
But when there is medicine in it already, you really need to be careful, because we've heard some pretty scary stories.
Yep.
About people that really got hurt.
Yep. I know one guy, this old guy, he was probably in his 80s. He told me a story about a guy that was, I don't know what he was given. I know there's some.
Well, I mean, they're cattle drugs.
There's a type of wormer, I believe. I don't know what it is. I think it's a wormer, because I was watching it on
You need a Band-Aid?
On a ranch out west about it. But they said that if you get injected with it accidentally, because a veterinarian is the only one that can do it, if you get injected with it, you'll be dead within an hour. And that's what this old guy was telling me about too. He said a person he knew did that, and he was dead before he could get back to the house to get help. So
what you did was you pull out your dose.
Right, to what you need it.
And push it in.
Push it in. And then you draw out
what you need.
Yep.
Who'd you learn that from?
Not sure. I think it's on videotaping me. And then I'll just get the bubbles out.
You flick it
when I get up there.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to do it, because
last time do it again.
Yeah, the last time I guess I didn't have the needle in, and it was alongside of that, and I shoved it on and shoved it through my finger. So that's a tetanus shot. That's basically because the band we'll be using on the bull has a little metal ring that crimps down, and they can get tetanus from that metal, which is not good if they get that. So you definitely want to make sure you have a tetanus shot. And then we're going to give him a little bit of what's called LA300, because see what the dosage is. I think it's yeah. We're not going to give him quite that much. We're going to give him like 10, 12. How many are these?
I think those 6. We did have some 10s.
That's a 10 there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 10. You can just watch that as you're recapping.
Yeah. If I can get this one on here, will it fit on there?
Is it a twist on?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, that works. So we're going to give him a shot of 10 cc, which is a little light actually.
So what is LA300?
It's just it's like a potent antibiotic. So since we're making a cut,
you're just going to put that on board.
We technically don't have to give him this, but
well, it's like any surgery. Any surgery,
it's a precautionary.
Yeah, it's to keep from.
This is thick stuff, ain't it?
Yeah. Do you have the big needle?
I have a small needle.
Oh, you probably need 18.
Yeah.
So now you got your bigger needle.
Yep. Try this again.
See what I mean? It's a bigger needle.
Yeah, it is.
It'll be a lot easier though, pulling it back out.
Yeah, and it's still thick.
It's very thick. Mm-hmm.
It's like black tar.
I have to see you show them when you give that to a cow, because it also goes in the same manner. It's not like a push in quickly sort of medicine. It takes a little bit, and when you're poking a cow, they don't like it. So we'll watch your technique. How you do that.
So that's the tetanus, the LE300, and then this one here is a 7-way. It's for a lot of different things. It's different diseases they can get, mostly like a black leg. It's a type of disease that they can get.
So it's like the leg turns black?
No, not well. Yeah, it can actually. When the infection sets in, it gives a black tint. It's just a nasty wound.
Nasty disease.
Yeah,
they die pretty quickly from that.
And it can spread through your herd. So.
Ew. So that is like a vaccine against that thing?
Yeah, it's like a 7-way. It has different ones for different things, but it just kind of protects them. So that's that.
To mist, which is a lot of fun when you're going to do some cow procedures, and then you can tell it's getting ready to rain. Look, I'm playing in the hay.
Yeah.
They're like headbutting the hay. I know.
So basically, just saying, basically, we're taking the squeeze chute just to make things easier. We'll run the calf in there, and then we can keep him confined where he don't hurt himself and he don't hurt us. Mostly he don't hurt me.
Right.
because they tend to want to kick.
Yeah, they don't like having.
I'd kick too, though.
That's what I was saying. You'd probably kick too.
Yeah, I would. I guarantee I would. But it's really for their, I wouldn't say for their best, but maybe it is too. Probably for our best. We'll get into that a little bit in the truck. Steers, basically, everybody knows. When they get a beef, they're always asking, you got a steer that's ready to go to the locker plant? Nobody asks if you got a bull that's ready to go to the locker plant. I'll explain that here in a little bit.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've never really thought about that. That calf. He's like the king of the little dirt mountain. Or is that a poop mountain?
It's a poop mound.
Look at him. Oh my gosh.
That's the poop mound.
That's so cute. It's like if you just put a little pile of dirt in their field.
Oh, they love it.
It's like you've
added. It's like a new
It's
playground.
a playground, yeah.
It's like our local town just put in a new playground, and like everybody's there now. And the same way with calves or cows. When I dug that pond up there, I had a huge dirt pile. They'd all go, it's probably, I don't know, 16, 18 foot tall. They'd all go up there and get on top of it like they're on top of Everest or something.
It's a new plaything for them.
It is. So we're headed to help a friend out. He don't really have a setup to do cutting his bull calf into a steer. And the reason we do that is, like I said before, you never hear anybody ask. Even people that don't farm, a lot of times they will just automatically come to me and say, hey, do you have any steers that are getting ready to go to the locker plant or the processing plant for beef? They don't ever ask, do you have a bull ready to go? So the reason for that is we cut the bull calves at around 500 pounds, 400 to 500 pounds. We band them to remove their testicles, which is a process where you band it and it cuts the circulation off, and eventually the whole scrotum and testicles fall off. Or we do it a little different way. We band and do a cutting procedure that makes it quicker, and the healing process could go from 6 weeks down to like 9 days. So it's a little more to do, but it's less stress on the calf, less chance for them to get an infection because the healing process is quicker. But anyways, back to the process of cutting and why we do it is, I'm always one who wants to figure out which way is the best way. So I have actually left a bull calf intact and butchered it at 18 months, which is about the same amount as we do with steers. And like I said, the only difference between a bull and a steer is the steer was initially a bull calf born, and then their testicles are removed. And the reason for that is I've done it both ways. I actually did it for myself, nobody else, because I'm like, I don't want nobody else eating that. But I actually left a bull calf intact, grew him the same way we did the other ones, finished him on grain and hay, and had him processed. And everything was like tough. Not so tough you couldn't eat it, but the steaks were not tender. They had like no marbling at all, which is like what you see in a ribeye, is the veins of fat running through the meat, or the fat around the edges. Like, he had no fat at all. And that's what I was told by a farmer who'd been into it for a long time, but I kind of wanted to see for myself, so I did that. I did an experiment. So definitely edible, but not near the quality as a steer, which what happens then is you remove their testicles. There's no testosterone pumping through their body, which allows the muscle mass to slow down the development, because that's what happens is with the bulls, leave them intact, their muscle mass and the development is so quick of their muscle mass, there's no room for fat. So when you take that out, the fat gets blended in with the meat on a steer, which gives you good marbling, which translates to tenderness. If you don't have fat through and marbling through your meat, you're not going to have tender meat. So that's the way we do it. And I've tried also grain-fed, grass-fed. I mean, obviously we do not do hormones at all, which is a quick growth rate as an implant. We don't do that at all. So hormone-free, which most people are anymore, unless they're a big cow or huge cattle operations, and some of them don't even. And but I've done grass-fed, grain-fed, which that's an opinion. Like, we've had people ask us, do you do any grass-fed? Or you hear people,
they only buy,
that we only eat grass-fed. Yeah. Well, that's fine, because that's an opinion. It's like, I might like a burger at McDonald's, you might like a burger somewhere else. So, I'm not ever going to say my opinion is right. But I've done that both ways. And just my opinion of it, it's, once again, it's with grass-fed, you're getting a leaner beef. It does have a stronger, beefier flavor versus the grain-fed.
Some people like that.
Some people like that.
Flavor. I don't.
But for me, it translated more into the tenderness of the meat. Because once again, if they're not on grain, we feed ours grain and finish them out on grain. So with grain, they're gaining more fat content and marbling in their meat. So when you put a ribeye steak that is grain-fed and grass-fed side by side, your grass-fed is going to be usually somewhat of a little darker meat. It's going to have a little stronger, beefier, or some say gamier flavor. And it's not going to have near the marbling or near the volume. You'll actually see that the grain or the grass-fed beef is a smaller steak on pretty much any of your cuts, but just because you're losing that fat content. So for me, like when I want a good steak and I want a tender steak with some marbling through it, I'm going to go grain-fed all day long. But like I said, that's just a preference. But I know some people's asked me which is better, so that's why I raised one straight grass-fed and I raised another grain, and we compared them. But that's my opinion on as far as which is better. Like I said, that's just my opinion. Somebody might be like, we love the grass-fed, we've tried both, and we love grass-fed, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But for me, to find a tender cut of meat, the grain-fed is the way to go for me.
Don't fall.
Huh?
Don't fall.
That's deep.
You're about to lose your boot. Buddy, today your life changes from a bull to a steer. He's trying to think of an escape right now.
They'll run that across here once he gets his legs up. Okay. We'll let him calm down for a minute. Try to get him in the bait.
store for a few days. So we're just loading our squeeze chute back up to take it back home. Hey guys, we just want to thank you so much for hanging out with us today, for you coming along with us as we're turning a bull into a steer, and we'll see you in the next video.